And we are indeed back, Brian Bross. I've tried my best. I've come on the networks and tried to make our beloved audience smile in this trying time, sir. I try to tell some jokes. I try to entertain them because, boy, when the Cowboys lose badly, the world ends, Brian Bross. We are this close from the world ending, and we just got to give them a little bit of optimism. We are playing a team that's 0-2 next week. So, look, you think you feel bad. Them cats lost to the Raiders. They feel worse than this, and they coming to get you. But we got to break down what happened with this Saints game. You watched the film. I watched the film. Brian brought us. Man, I tell you what, let me just make a bold apology, like a loud apology to Coach Zimmer. You know what I'm saying? And I think I was right by trying to point the finger somewhere, because that defense is the direction that you have to point to, and you kind of do have to start from the top to the bottom. But I do want to give him my sincerest of apologies, Brian Brothers, because I don't think his players did enough to help him out, you know, and maybe he had another ace in the hole, something up his sleeve that he could have helped us out with, but execution just wasn't on point. It was a little bit of hero ball, not the best gap integrity like we saw with Cleveland or whatnot. Overran some stuff, you know, and that'll get us blocked, or we'll underrun some stuff and we'll get us blocked. You know, we'll get caught with the woes like, hey, it's a lot of movement. It looks like we're guessing, and that'll get us blocked. Jordan Phillips, man, I don't know if you saw me on Twitter, Brian, but I'm looking for Albert Huggins. I'm looking for Justin Rogers, Brian. That was a horrible display. So if Mozzie is your guy, you looking pretty bad at one tech right now. So I just want to give Mike Zimmer my sincerest of apologies, because the way some of his guys played, it wasn't much that he could have done scheme wise.
Yeah, but if you're now into giving apologies, I might as well give an apology too for selling our listeners down the road of thinking that Jordan Phillips could play a little bit. Man. You know, and I know in training camp and I would be interested, I need to talk to somebody in the Cowboys player personnel department or the pro department about what they saw in Phillips. Yeah. Because I watched the Buffalo tape that he had against Cowboys, Eagles, Kansas City. This isn't the same player. No. This is not the same player. No. And I can understand Linval Joseph, because Linval Joseph is Linval Joseph. He's a big man, doesn't move particularly well. You kind of feel like he could take up some space. Maybe occasionally, when the ball's at him, going to make a play. But when the ball's going on the edge and he ain't helping keep blockers off your linebackers, he's no use to you doing that. Sure. And Phillips, neither was he. I don't recognize Phillips. No. And I'm not saying that to wash my hands of anything here, because as an evaluator, I think I saw the same stuff that the Cowboys saw in this player. Yeah. I saw the ability, the range. Yeah. Hey, where's that guy that lined up as a outside eye of Tyron Smith that came flying in there on a twist stunt for a sack? Yeah. Where's that guy? Sure. And that right there, if I misled our listeners to believe that Jordan Phillips could be an answer at 3 technique for, and it's one game, but I'll tell you what, though, I did you guys no favors, because I don't recognize this kid playing right now. Man, I really don't. Man, Brian, we watched the film and we saw a player that was physical. We saw a player with some ball get off, like he wasn't like super bull rushy guy, but he could get some penetration moving forward. He can line up all up and down. This dude, Brian, like he was getting blocked 1-on-1 5 yards down the field multiple times. Ruiz, like somebody that I thought that we was going to target. I thought we were looking for the right guard. Ruiz, he's like 1-on-1 blocking him by himself, whooping Jordan Phillips. So I'm looking for, all right, man, look, is his head in the game? Is he going through something? Is he just trying to get a check or something like that? And maybe we need to look for somebody else. But I think there's a long list of free agent backup anybody's that can stand in there and do a better job than Jordan that
Phillips.
was bad. And that was bad. And to me, if this Cowboy defense is going to have any success playing run defense, it's going to be their linebackers.
Yeah.
They're going to need to keep those guys as clean and free as possible.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are going to have to run, and they're going to have to make tackles. And, like you said, they're not going to have to overshoot, undershoot, but if you're in a combo blocking situation and they're like comboing and it's like bam, bam, like quick, like they're getting to that second level and they're not even worrying about the down guys, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a big problem. And, I don't care if you have freaking Dick Butkus or Ray Lewis. I don't care who's playing linebacker. But if these guys are fighting blocks all day, and there's going to be fighting blocks, but like immediately fighting blocks and then also fighting the down lineman in their laps, there's going to be some problems. Yeah. There are going to be some problems. And, their ability to quickly get up on the second level and to get things pinned down inside, to pin the edge, to pin the tackles, to pin the linebackers, and then put this thing out there on them corners. That's a tough way to play defense. And, I, as a guy who has a lot of respect, and we all know my relationship with Mike Zimmer, but Mike Zimmer, they didn't get it done yesterday.
Yeah.
They just not get it done. And you mentioned starts from the top, and Mike will take accountability for what happened yesterday. He ain't going to walk around there and point the finger and be like, and Bobby Belt said this earlier in Love with the Star, you got a guy like a Rod Marinelli maybe that was more like, man, this is my scheme. This is what I'm going to do. We're going to play the scheme. I'm not going to adjust. Mike will adjust. Mike will do what he has to do. Mike ain't going through that again. Sure. Now, we all think that Mike, and there was a time where Mike was probably a yeller screamer guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Mike Zimmer's that guy anymore. I think Mike Zimmer's grateful he has a job in the National Football League, but he also likes coaching these guys. And, he let them down yesterday. They let him down yesterday, and they can't have a repeat performance like that. They've got to find ways, or they are going to get the ball run on them all year like we did in 2000 or 2 or 1, whatever that was, where Charlie Garner and
Ron Dane,
Ron Dane, and those guys are just slamming the ball at you, and it's 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
You better figure this thing out real fast, and I trust Mike will. But, man, he is going to have to kind of work some smoke and mirrors stuff because I just don't see them right now with any going out and being able to grab some defensive tackles. Maybe they could find one in a trade. I don't know if anybody will trade you one, but, they've got that has to be a concern right now if those offensive linemen are getting up on those linebackers as quick as they were yesterday in that football game.
Yeah. I was just watching the film, Brian, and the one thing that I was grateful for, right, is that if you wrote a checklist of all the nonsense stuff you can do on the defense, right, like we did a little bit of everything, you know? So this might be a valuable loss for you in terms of like coaching tape, teaching tape is what they'll call it. Like, hey, we're not gap sound here. We're shooting upfield too far and they running right behind us. Right. We're not dealing with pin and pull kicking our ass still, Brian Brothers. Things like that. Tackling wasn't great. The angles weren't great at all. We had our reservations about the safeties too, Brian. And man, it's like, hey, cover 2 is meant to take away the deep ball, and you can kind of attack cover 2 like in the middle of it, but people running behind the cover 2 is ridiculous. So all right, cool, we got to work on depth now. We got to work on playing.
Well, I'll tell you what you have to work on too is young guy Carson. When you're playing cover 2, and your responsibility is to jam and sink. It's jam. Then sink is what your responsibility is. Mm-hmm. Jam, then sink. Not sink, jam, and sink. Mm-hmm. Young guy, you can't let Shaheed have a free run on your safeties.
Yeah.
And he got to Hooker quick, and then all of a sudden he crosses Hooker's face, and now he's on to Wilson. And Wilson, and I looked up the metrics. You couldn't throw the ball any better than that kid threw that ball. And I called him a kid. Right. I always do that. I'm sorry. He's not a kid. You could not, that car could not have thrown the ball. They said on the metrics, there was 1.6 yards of separation when he caught that ball.
Man.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot throw a ball any better than he threw that, but still jam and sink. Yeah. If you let a guy who can run, he is going to find, and the rush got home late. The rush was there. Carr let it fly, and then he got hit, but he let it fly. And maybe if he has to wait for Shaheed to run and to clear before he throws that football, maybe it's a different story. But that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because, and it's technique. The Cowboys are playing with a lot of young guys right now. Sure. And Mike McCarthy said it today in his press conference. Some young and experienced or some young guys. And it's not just like Carson. It's Leofau. Sure. It's young guy Brooks not sustaining his block or falling down on a crossing route.
Yeah.
Or Tolbert not extending for a pass along the sidelines and allowing Tyrann Mathieu to drive on the ball and knock it out of his hands.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Guyton, Beebe. There are a lot of young guys playing, and that's not an excuse.
Sure.
But they are. That was a game where, you got hit in the mouth, and your response was, "Whoa, okay," and they kept coming at you, and there were a lot of young guys that were in that battle. And they saw what NFL is all about.
Yeah. You're
going to get some heavy personnel groups. And the thing about it, I wondered if Dallas would have just gone ahead and maybe played them. Now, I guess when you get in 21 and 22 personnel, you got to match them with base. You got to try.
Sure.
But I wonder if there was any way that they could have got him out of playing 21 and 22, but they couldn't win on first down.
Yeah.
They couldn't win on first. I mean, it was every time I looked up, it was 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2. They weren't winning on first down. They were playing what Mike Lombardi likes to call CFL football. They have 2 downs to make a first. They were playing CFL football. They were getting positive plays on first down. They were finishing up second down. They never had to get the third down. If Dallas would have found a way to at least get them the third down a couple of different times, maybe things would have been different. But they never could figure that out.
Yeah.
They never could figure out how to get them to third down.
And, Brian, I feel like when I was watching the film, like the Cowboys defense, man, will get like a solid tackle on first down or something.
Sure.
Second and big ass play, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll go, all right, cool, we made a tackle. It's 2nd and 8.
Yeah.
Up first down. Boom, pop the first down.
Yeah.
And it's demoralizing, honestly. You know, that hey, just give the ball to Alvin and let him work, and then play action off of Alvin kicking your ass, Brian, bro. Like it was tough out there. There's this big hubbub on the internet that everybody wanted to know, hey, Mike McCarthy, Overshowns was so fantastic last week. Why didn't he play this week and all that? And Mike McCarthy's response to that was that Overshowns plays these sub packages.
He does.
But they didn't feel comfortable about him playing the base 4-3 stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. They played in this game, metrics will tell you, they played base defense 89% of the game.
Man, but Brian, don't that sound fishy to you? Don't that sound fishy to you?
I know. I saw what you did.
My best linebacker, right? The leading tackler on the team last week.
But go back and show that right there.
He got right here. Let me see if I can highlight him here.
Right there. He's on the right side right there.
Yeah, Overshowns.
Yeah,
right
there he is. Yeah. See, this is the thing. Run, and then I mean,
But I'll tell you. I'll tell you why, Brian Bros. I'll tell you why. Well, I didn't. Hold on, wait. Let me hit this button here and zoom us out a little bit. There we go. I done messed up my zoom. Cool. But Brian, if you take a look at who this is, Linval Joseph. If you take a look at Linval Joseph, he's supposed to be doing something with these two guys right here.
Oh, like, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like if you take a look at how easy the center just leaves. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, Brian, bro. But Brian, like so.
Oh no, I see. I know what you're saying, bro. Figure it out. Figure it out.
As a personnel guy, right? If I'm drafting you the best players I could possibly find, and you go, "Hey man, we can play him in nickel, but we can't play him in base." Brian, how does that sound to you, man? Like what is that? What is that?
Okay, remember what they told us about Leofau. Remember what they told us. Yeah. There was so much love for him. I mean, there really was. There was, post draft, and we've all talked about him. I mean, he was not good in the Rams game. Sure. We remember the Rams game. He wasn't very good. Better in the Raiders game. This is really the first extended. What did they do last week when Kendricks got a little nicked up and had to go get an IV? Who did they put in there?
Visual.
Nick Visual.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't Leofau. Yeah. It was Nick Vigil they put in there. Yeah. And so now you're kind of like going, well, wait a minute, you played Nick Vigil. Someone said, well, let's throw Leofau in there and see what we get. And he wasn't terrible, but there was some young guy plays where you're like, okay, he overran this or he didn't read this the right way. And there was a lot of confidence in Leofau, a lot of confidence. And that's, and that's why they probably didn't, that's why they didn't see. Go back if you could on that.
Oh, yes. I took a deep breath too, Brian, bro. I took a deep ass breath too. Yeah.
Okay, now I'll tell you when to stop it if I could. This is where John Owning, stop it right there. Okay, this is where John Owning and I from Pro Football Focus had a little bit of a disagreement. And John's really, really good at his job. His question was, okay, right there, Linval Joseph needs to be further in that gap. And I was kind of talking about Micah Parsons, like, I was thinking the edge, if you could somehow squeeze that, Micah's turned right there. I mean, if somehow he takes on that block, but is able to squeeze that. Yeah. And then you get that. Now look at the fill's coming, but and John's right about Joseph's got to get over there. But see what happens, it makes Leofau have to run the hump. Or is that Kendricks? Excuse me.
That's
Kendricks. Yeah, sorry, my eyes. Kendricks has to run the hump to get around, and now everything about it is bad. I was discussing with John that I felt like that maybe Micah too far up the field. Okay, Joseph's got to get over. Yeah. Overshowns got to fill. Now, Kendricks is having to run the hump round 93 and, he can't get there. So I get it, man. To me, it just looks like it looks like you get knocked wide, you get hooked, you make the linebacker run the hump. It's a play that looks like it's going to score. I mean, the way that play turned out is exactly how it was blocked. And the result was exactly what it was.
Well, Brian Broadus, I'll tell you what.
Now 21 on the edge here, our corner, Carson. Yeah, he's going to be on the right. He's going to be on the edge. If you could just maybe chop that thing down if you can. I mean, just throw your body in there. But
yeah,
he's.
I'll say this though, Brian. Like, first of all, I don't want Micah Parsons just doing a whole bunch of this in the first place. I don't just want him handing the dirt on rundowns. But I do think that it was because of the depth that he did gain. Like he did kind of work himself out. Like if Michael would have gotten to this point and worked more into
if you squeeze it, you squeeze it right there.
Yeah,
then maybe
he'll be like right here.
Yeah,
He'll be
maybe if
like,
you squeeze it, then it kind of clogs things up. But look at the way the ball just comes downhill at that gap.
Yeah,
that guy never broke stride.
Yeah,
I mean, he never broke stride. Is the tackle bad? Sure, but man, I mean, there's if you just squeeze it, maybe that gives Overshown a chance.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I say, John's really good. John and I got in that discussion. I didn't think the edges played particularly well in this game, and John's argument was, well, Micah Parsons was one of your better run defenders. Yeah. And there were some times where there were some 3-yard runs where Micah Parsons was at the bottom of the pile. And I'm not trying to slam on Micah Parsons, but man, it just looked like to me upfield, and that just gave you the lane right there. Just gave you the lane. And people say, well, where's the tackle? Well, that Linval Joseph is not going to make that. He's not going to make a head up to C gap play.
Yeah,
that ain't happening.
That's one of them plays. Jordan Phillips used to make, but he don't make them plays no more because he's big and athletic enough to do it, but he don't do that no more.
No more.
Brian, our tackles on offense, I feel like they had a rough little go at it.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Go ahead.
Terrence Steele was out there fighting for his life, and like we've been saying the past couple of weeks with Guyton, is you can give him all the tutelage you would like, but if he's caught up in a fist fight, he's gonna go back to what he knows. And it's a lot of shoulders over toes, a lot of bending at the waist, a lot of leaning, and Chase Young, shut down a lot of run plays, and look, man, Granderson had a day. And look, let me just give the Saints credit, man, because just me watching the film. Come on, Brian Bros. We didn't expect Granderson to come in here and tear your day up like that, but Granderson got a sack and a half and a couple run stuffs. You know what I mean? So your tackles didn't play the best. I think your center kind of has some issues also, and I think in general we didn't do a good job blocking the linebackers, Brian. I think that's something you got to do in the run game. You got to deal with those linebackers, and there was plenty of times like we just didn't touch Davis, we just didn't touch Peyton or whatever. So it was an upsetting day for my offensive line, Brian.
Yeah, I think to me where, you look at, there were a couple different times, especially down in the red zone. There was one particular time, and I'm going to pull my notes up because I was thinking about this as I was looking at it. I'm like, again, we start talking about young guy mistakes. And this is the one, let me see if I can pull it up real fast here, but the where is it real quick, they had a situation where they just looked like to me that, okay, it was the flip play to Elliott is the one where they were down in the red zone and they flip it, and it looks like Steele's late to get out to secure his block. The Saints appeared to have more defenders than blockers on the outside. It's like they totally read the play the way it was. Smith and Beebe appear to go the wrong way. I had that as a question mark. Did they? Because neither the linebackers were blocked, and I can't imagine. I'm sure you'll pull up. It's the play where they're down in the red zone and Dak just does it's like the option play. Yeah, here it is. Okay, if we can from the end zone here, let's watch. Appreciate you pulling this up.
Yes, sir.
Watch what all right, go back if you could. Look what the center and the left guard do. The center and left guard.
Yeah.
And are they trying? I don't think it's an influence. I don't think they're trying to influence. But what happens? Like both those linebackers, I guess you're trying to influence one of them. But look how late Steele is getting out. Steele at the right tackle spot to getting out. He chips off and then oops. Now he's beat,
So,
but they're trying to.
Yeah,
they're trying to. I don't quite get what their scheme is here because it looks like to me the center should probably be up on Davis if I had to guess.
So let me see. They're running speed options. So in my mind, let's see. They're trying to read this guy, so they're letting him go free, Brian. So
right, and Schoonmaker's going to go up and get a block here.
Yeah. He's probably going to block this guy. And if I had to guess, it'll be boom, boom. And maybe Terrence kind of gets off on the linebacker there, and then boom, boom, and maybe BB climbs to this guy, and then guy just deals with him, and we'll just kind of do it like that. But That ain't what happened, Brian Bros.
No, see, that's to me. I was confused by what the left guard and the center were doing because the linebackers are just. I mean, they're just you don't have enough. You don't have enough guys.
Yeah,
you don't have enough guys there to handle that situation. And I kind of okay, we're going to option off that guy, and now it's they got 4 guys out there before you even when Dak makes the flip. I mean, it's a jailbreak.
And honestly, right, Brian, I hate this anyway because I don't want Ezekiel Elliott like trying to make plays in space. I don't want him to have to be like faster than people in space. And what ends up happening is you end up playing this leverage game. If you look at where this linebacker is and where this linebacker is, the person that has to block him is to the inside of him, right?
Right.
So one of these guys are going to have to block him, and then one of these guys are going to have to block Davis. But the problem with that is like we're running.
You're all
wide.
out leveraged.
Yeah, we're trying to go that way. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to me, this is one of those things where if Dak has the ability, that right there to me does not look very conducive to running the football. And I mean, Steele, it's just, Steele tries to help Martin, but by helping Martin the way he does, it throws him off from getting to the second level and maybe getting the block that they need. But that play to me looked like just a disaster from the jump.
Yeah.
And we could go back. I did a whole big thing on 105.3 The Fan today about the red zone plays.
Yeah.
And people are like, they're every time, well, the running game, the backs, defense, this, that. They got a red zone issue.
Yeah, they do.
They got a red zone issue. And if I could I'll run these through what I saw. I mean, real quick, if you don't mind.
Please.
But, okay, here was one. Vaughn at left tackle. I'm just going to read what my notes said. Vaughn at left tackle. Lipke doesn't control his man. Unable to get blocker up on Davis. He makes the tackle. Okay. Reverse to Cooks. Brooks can't control Taylor off the edge. Loses sustained. Tackle for loss. Granderson sack. Prescott appears to want Tolbert inside. Which one you showing me here?
This is the Vaughn play, I think. Lipke.
No, the Vaughn play was to the left, to the edge. It was down in the red zone. It was a red zone play.
See if I go find that for you. Go ahead.
Okay. But but here, find this one.
Okay.
If you could, find the one where the Granderson sack. Prescott appears to want to throw the ball to Tolbert inside, and I think that sideline copy will tell you that he tried to throw. I mean, but it looked like Tolbert got kind of bracketed on the play, and then Cook adjusts wide to try and get open, and I think he's able to. And then Granderson just spins inside on Steele for the sack. So you kind of wonder, okay, here we go, red zone issues. But I wondered if Dak was what he was trying to do once he read that Tolbert was not going to be able to get the ball, that he didn't get back to Cooks, but did he have enough time to get back to Cooks because of what happened with Steele and the sack? It just to me was one of those opportunities that was probably wasted, because after the play you could see Cooks is kind of looking like, bro, just throw me the ball. I mean, if he was looking inside and then he tried to get back to the left, and it just wasn't, he didn't get there quick enough to get the ball to Cooks. And besides that, they were bad. Steele was bad on the play. Another red zone play, I think this was a little bit on Prescott, and we've seen him make this play before, where he throws the ball short to Elliott. And I think this play had a chance for a walk-in. And excuse me a second.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just found your Granderson sack here. Yeah.
Okay. Can you show me the sideline real quick?
Do I have sideline? Yeah.
You have a sideline this one?
Yeah, I got sideline.
Okay. Watch the number one inside is Tolbert. Sorry, I'm just trying to get myself a little moisture here. But here's Tolbert on the inside. I think this is where Dak wants to go with the ball. Cooks is next to him at number 2. Okay. So watch the play. Watch the route as it develops. I think Dak wants to throw it right in that hole right there. And so you kind of right there. So look at the safeties coming over, and then look at the linebacker. So it's kind of a little bit of a bracket there, a little bit of a bracket. So I don't think Dak wants to throw it there. But watch Cooks as number 2. Watch him right on the outside.
Oh, that's Turpin.
Is that Turpin on the outside or is that Cooks?
Right here?
Is that Turpin?
Yep, that's Turpin.
Okay. Look at him just kind of pivot to the outside.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought that was Cooks with the play. But look at how Dak wants to like throw it inside, but maybe, and if you go back to the inside, if we go to the end zone copy of the play, the end zone copy, you'll see Dak's eyes. He's looking first, looks like inside, and then he wants now, and then he kind of, when he pulls the ball back, well, that's when Steele gets spun.
Yeah.
See the spin right there? Turpin was wanting the ball. As soon as Dak went away right there, but he didn't have the time to get the ball to the outside there. But maybe that's where if he was going to read, if Dak was reading really quickly, he could have said, man, it looks like that Tolbert is going to be covered there. Maybe he didn't expect the linebacker to be underneath like that. He thought just he was going to get the safety. That's why he was going to make the throw. But that was a play. I mean, I'm just going through all these red zone plays.
Sure.
And, Prescott to fade to Lamb. There's really good coverage by McKistry to hold Lamb up and contest the ball. Harris breaks on the ball in order to knock it away. Prescott to Tolbert. They moved the pocket to the right. Tolbert covered by Adebo on the play. There's no place to place the ball. Span forward on 4th down. Could have been defensive holding, not called. He really tried to force the ball there. These are all red zone plays. These are all red zone plays, and you kind of wonder, you're kicking field goals. You needed, if you had any shot in this game, it was going to be about you're going to have to maybe score along with them.
Sure.
But I just walked through those plays. There's just nothing positive about any of that stuff. Yeah. Missed blocks, sacks, all kinds of pressures and stuff like that. Yeah. And they're trying to run the ball, not good enough. A lot of things going on there.
Brian, I feel like the Cowboys really wanted to make an attempt to find out who the running back was in this situation.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they didn't go with Zeke early. They went Dowdle early, and Deuce Vaughn got about 4 opportunities or something like that. And then they started to go a little bit of Zeke, and I just feel like nobody took advantage of that, bro. Nobody took advantage of that. So I'm just wondering, Brian, and this could be a criticism to the front office and all this, but it's like we have concerns. And Brian, let me just be clear. I'm just a dude with a microphone and a camera. I mean, this light is fine, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't nothing fancy. I'm just a dude, Brian. And if it's 3 positions we've been talking about, it's running back, defensive tackle, wide receiver. Yeah. Those are 3 positions that we've just been preaching about the entire offseason. And you can bring in Dalvin Cook. You can bring in Jordan Phillips. You can say, okay, well, these young guys got to step up. That ain't working, man, because we're in this game where you could have used some wide receiver option opposed to CeeDee Lamb or Brandon Cooks. You really could have used some run game going here. You really could have used a defensive tackle not named Jordan Phillips. And you didn't have any of those things, and they all helped you lose this game.
Yeah, they were all part of that, and you're absolutely right about that. This could be the week where you maybe give Dalvin Cook a look. Maybe this is where, and maybe Dalvin Cook isn't good enough either. I know. Here we go. Yep. Yeah. I knew it.
What we giving Dalvin?
How about me? Me and Phil Collins got the same look today, by the way. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I got tired of pushing up my glasses today.
It's all good.
I got tired of pushing them up. And you know what I've been doing my David Hellman imitations. Playing my eyebrows is what I've been doing. Playing my eyebrows a little bit. But yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they say, let's try something a little different in this game.
Sure.
Maybe Dalvin Cook, but I think you're out of that game. Your ability to run the ball in that game, it went away. And that thing got to be, 21 to whatever it was, 21 to 6. Yeah. And all of a sudden, if you'd have found a way to maybe get a stop or two, maybe you could have run the ball or tried to run the ball.
Yeah.
I told you this in the post-game show we did yesterday. I felt like trying to run the ball would have been a good option in the second half of the Browns game.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of figured some things out there.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And, we'll see. Run defense, running the ball. These are things that if this season gets derailed, we'll look back and they'll say they didn't address the three areas that you were talking about just a minute ago.
Hey, man, we better figure something out, man. We better figure something out. It's still early in the season, and I know we got questions, and as weird as this sounds, we don't know what the Baltimore Ravens are. We don't know if they are going to come out like a talented team that's desperate. They got to get a win, or are they going to flop around like they did last week? We don't know what's going to happen.
I'll tell you what, Voch, I'm really looking forward to looking at them and kind of finding that out.
Yeah.
What they have is, if we always talk about what teams are, this is a team the last few years have struggled to maintain double-digit leads in the fourth quarter of games.
Yeah.
And is Dallas good enough to come back if they got down in a game? I'm sure somebody out there will tell me the last time that happened, but it's it's tough. I mean, there's a couple of teams that are going to be playing on Sunday at 3:25 that still have questions. Yeah. And if the Ravens go down 0-3, boy, that's huge. But Dallas is they need to find a way. They need to find a way to be better, with their scheme. They need to be better. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know if you're going to get any remarkably better at defensive tackle. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think when we watch the Ravens play, we're going to be probably pretty impressed with their offensive line.
Yeah.
I think we're going to probably talk about their offensive line, and we'll probably be a little bit better than what they surely faced at Cleveland and, this past week with the Saints. Mm. So that would be a big concern of mine going in. Without even looking at the Ravens, I just, kind of feel like with the way every year that the way that they run the football. Yeah. And the quarterback has a lot to do with that. But man, having to deal with that big running back, and if you're not good enough, they'll once again expose you. And I believe this with all my heart. If the Cowboys are going to play really good run defense, they're going to have to keep their linebackers clean. They are going to have to keep them clean. Those are the one guys that can make plays. But if they're fighting blocks all day, they're no use to you.
Your good pals, Voch Lombardi and Brian Bross, are going to tear that film down and tell you what the business is. We're going to do that Wednesday and Thursday. But, hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hey, don't hang your head too long, man. You are 1-1, and there's a lot of teams that you love that are also 1-1 and 0-2. So it's very early in the season, and I always lean towards the idea that it's better to run into these issues early and fix them and have the tape on it and know how to attack it, during the week. So
the coaching staff needs to be better. The players need to be better. And, and if you don't figure it out, then people will take advantage of you. But if you do figure it out and you make improvements, and, the next week we can come back on here and talk about, hey, they did this against the Ravens. This was a good plan. Last week against the Saints, they didn't handle this particularly well. But this is going to be a big challenge. It's a well-coached team you're playing with a lot of really good players. And trust me, right behind when they start to talk about teams that run that 21 and 22 personnel stuff, which gave you trouble in that game yesterday, it's it's the 49ers, it's Dolphins, it's the Saints, it's the Cowboys, and it's the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Those are the teams that are running the 21 and 22 personnel stuff. Yeah. So if you prove you can't handle that, then you're going to get a pretty steady diet of that going forward. Not everybody can run it like the Saints did, but this team coming in runs it pretty well. So it'll be a huge challenge for sure. We'll break it down. We'll figure it out.
Hell yeah. Y'all be sure to tap in with us. I'm back active on Twitter. I am stirring up trouble with your head coach.
You are stirring up trouble, yeah.
VOCHLOMBARDI, and y'all follow BRY and Brothers on Twitter. He'll be reading y'all's comments at 5 a.m. on his morning walk. All right. And hey, y'all enjoy the rest of your night. We'll catch y'all next time, and we love you to pieces. Crown.